All right, boys, welcome to my first podcast. Now, this is a little bit impromptu. I've been sat here chilling, this beautiful resort in Thailand with my friend Tom here. I've been wanting to start a podcast for a while, so we thought we've got 2 cigars, we're gonna smoke our cigars and have a nice chat, and we'll share it with you guys today. So Tom, first off, a brief introduction into who you are. Who is Thomas of House Spark?
Interesting nickname, but I'm a consultant, personal brand consultant. I work with people building out their offers, presenting themselves online, and basically making a boatload of money. Yeah, it's going good. Work with some cool people, and yeah, I'm in Thailand with you. Been loving it here. Very settled out here. Work-life balance is great. So that's pretty much where I am at the moment. That's my elevator pitch. Impromptu elevator pitch.
That's my favourite thing about Thailand, is the fact that it's a nice, quiet, quaint life on this small island. But not only that, there's a bunch of fucking G's rolling around here.
Yeah.
So, for example, we just pull up to this resort, every day, do our work here. There's a good chance we're going to find some G's here. Like we saw a G earlier, sat in there.
Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie started talking about crypto and what he's doing. Tom gave him fucking great bit of advice. It's a truly beautiful thing to be able to share such a high-performing lifestyle with a bunch of other high-performing G's.
Yeah, I like that. And it's connection-wise, you're in a boat here with an island. You're not on a boat. You're on an island with other people who've come to an island for a similar reason. So you already have that in common. Okay, there's a lot of people here to party and to,
That's a fuck ton, yeah.
And, there's a lot of that. But there's a lot of people who love the lifestyle, they love nature, but they also want to work hard and they want to network. And it's just a perfect balance of both. You don't have to be in a hustle bustle city to network. You can do it in amazing places like this. And I often think the people you meet are somewhat more creative. They think outside the box a little bit more. To make this lifestyle work and actually sustain yourself doing this, you have to have a good amount of discipline. You have to, and you have to be kind of flexible, and I guess creative is the right word, with your routines. You have to be able to work anywhere. You have to be, which is actually quite a hard skill. So when you meet other people like that, you kind of instantly get on. You have a lot in common, and I think that's one of the biggest takeaways I've found from being in a place like this is just like you said, there's G's rolling around. And they've all kind of been off on their own little mission, and then when you cross over, you can just exchange a shitload of value.
Yeah, you just rendezvous at these random spots and you end up having a nice sit down, you have a nice steak, you have a nice cigar, and every time you talk, there's just such a massive exchange of value and knowledge that's just been getting passed down amongst this big conga line of Thailand G's. Is brilliant. And the weird thing is, it's depending on who you speak to, you'll find that people, when they say Thailand, they'll think distraction. Whereas to me, it's the complete opposite. It's it's such a good place to hunker down and actually get on a really good grind. And I think the difference between those two mindsets is simply just how you navigate women and partying, booze. A lot of people just come here to Thailand and just immediately start going off on a mad one, just partying every night. And guys, sometimes it's got to be done. It's got to be done sometimes, we've got to let off a bit of steam sometimes it's got to be done. But motherfuckers really travel 8,000 miles across the world to just sesh.
Yeah,
it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So that's not Thailand to me. To me, Thailand's a great place to, hunker down and get some really high quality work done. And it genuinely just depends on how you navigate these massive distractions, booze and women. Massive distractions.
That's a good point. And I think, do you have self-control if you don't actually have those options available? So you could say that you're in the UK in your little town hidden away somewhere. You might have the pub, and realistically, you're not going to have
fucking
a surplus
spoons.
You'd have Weatherspoons, yeah. You're not going to have a surplus of women necessarily. And you can be disciplined there. But when you're in a place where those things are available, the apple is there, ready. It actually takes more discipline to navigate them. But then if you can, you get greater benefits. Yeah. And also if you can navigate that discipline here, you're building discipline. Me and you could go out now and we could go out, have a party, we could do all sorts of things, we could be distracted. There's women throw themselves at you here. And of course that happens worldwide.
For men like us.
For
men like us.
worldwide. But, you know, here it's different. It's completely different. They're like almost incentivized to throw themselves at you. And I think particularly guys who come over here who maybe haven't had a decent amount of attention or any attention before, they come over here and there's literally every street, well, most streets in the town that you walk down, there's girls like touching you, trying to pull you in.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see why a lot of kind of the older guys come here and stuff. But it's a hard thing. I was thinking about this the other day. I don't know what your thoughts are. I kind of feel sorry for these guys, and it's not in no one's place to judge, like, yes, you should be doing this, no, you shouldn't be doing this. But if you're a guy and you haven't had a lot of attention, maybe also you've had some sort of divorce or just the relationships with women in your life haven't been good.
Yeah.
Because it's easy for, and I'm not defending actions either way, like just an observation here. When they come out here, they get the female attention and also they meet other guys who are like in a similar place to them. So I can see why a lot of people come out who are men. It's because like it's like a lad's holiday for them. They get to be around other people, they build relationships they wouldn't usually have, and they get attention from women. Now, I'm not suggesting that this is something I think is a good thing. That's not the point, but I don't know. For me, it points to something interesting that in the West that a lot of guys are missing, and it's like not accessible. There's a lot of guys who have to come out here to get attention from women, and to find that. And okay, yeah, you can make judgments on if that's a good thing or not, but why is that? Like, you know.
Do you know what the black pill is?
The black pill. Tell me what the black pill is.
Oh my God,
Sounds
bro!
heavy.
It's literally. You know what a red pill is? So the black pill is like. It's basically the idea that like your success as a man is based upon just genetics and nothing else.
Oh, is this like?
So it's like a really defeatist ideology.
Is this like incel?
Yeah, kind of like incel, yeah. But like it's literally a thing in their community that like, yeah, if you're sub 5, then just go to Southeast Asia.
Okay.
So that's genuinely a thing.
Yeah, it's very defeatist, isn't it?
It's insanely defeatist.
defeatist.
I can't imagine waking up coming out of bed and just think like, oh, sub 5, can't do anything about it. Oh well, move Southeast Asia, I guess.
Well, it's easy, isn't it? It's the easy option. Yeah, it's like sub 5.
It's a sad existence.
It's sad, but it is the easy option. Yeah, I can get women. I can go out there, be with some people who won't judge me because we're all here doing the same thing.
That's the thing, though. That's what strikes me about these sorts of things. Like these interactions you have when you're boozed up, when you're completely off your head on substances, alcohol, drugs, whatever it is, they're so fake. And it's so easy as a young man who struggles socially to sort of get lost in that, because that's the only time that you're actually able to like sort of express who you are. Like I remember I had a group of friends back in the UK, and like it seemed to me like the only time they were able to express themselves to me was when they were just off their head on like ket.
Oh, yeah.
And it made me really sad, because like when I'm in that situation and they're telling me like, oh yeah, I love you, bro, I love what you're doing and all this stuff, and then outside of the club or whatever, I send them a message and I get some like really cold deadpan reply a few hours later. It's like, it's a massive like, it's like whiplash. It's like, so that shit that happened in the club when we were off our head, it's not even real. It's not a real interaction. But as someone who struggled socially, and these were the only friends I had for quite some time, it's like that's all I could get. And I feel like a lot of young men get stuck in that place.
This is really interesting, really, really interesting. I think there's a few things to kind of be said there. Now, the first one is a drunken mind speaks a sober heart, which is like one of those sayings that goes around. Now, this is something that I've noticed too, and like for context, I've been sober well over a year now actually, but I didn't really drink beforehand. I'd also done a year sober before that as well, and I'd kind of been removing alcohol from my life. And now I realised this, that a lot of the time, the only time guys express themselves is in those moments. You're off your head, you've had too many pints, your sweet Caroline has come on, you've got your arms around each other, and I get it, there's a vulnerability to it and a camaraderie to it, and I think that's why like rugby teams drink a lot. It's because you see each other at you're most vulnerable, and you have to kind of trust each other, and I think there's something to be said for it. But I think there's also, I think we do need to, as guys, express our emotions or understand our emotions in a healthy way. we can't suppress emotions. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing for a man to just like, and this doesn't mean that you let it out and you're like crying all the time. That's the wrong approach. But you have to understand them. If you've got anger in you, you need to understand it and then you need to channel it. It's the same with sexual energy. Like, you've got choices with sexual energy. You can literally just bust one out quickly and get rid of it, or you can harness it and you can, where's that sexual energy come from? That sexual energy comes from the desire to reproduce, okay, so, and also to kind of pass on your genetics. So how do you do that in the best possible way? You create the best possible career, so you have the best possible women or women's, and so that you can, you know, pass on your genetics, whatever it is. Like, that energy will do the same thing. You can either bust it into like a tissue, or you can use it to like propel your life. And so we need to understand like emotions, feelings, all of this in a healthy way. And I think when you see guys who are spending a lot of time, you get drunk every weekend, and that's when all of these emotions come out. It's like an intense point. It's like, it's not just the alcohol that you're not addicted to, but it's that you need that release once a week.
I see.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I've never seen it that way. So it's like a build-up of emotion. So it's like, you know, men who aren't able to express themselves during their week, and they've got all these things that they wanted to say, but they just didn't say it because of X or Y. Yeah. And then finally, the Saturday comes, the club's open, and I can express myself. Man, it's really sad when you put it like that, though. Where does that come from? Is that a sense of misguidedness? Is it a sense of complacency? What do you think?
So it's a good question. So this is what I think. I think, like all humans, men do need to, like I said, process and understand their emotions. Now, unfortunately, what's happened is, through our school system, and I used to be in the school system, not just as a kid, but like actually in it, educating. There's a big feminine energy, which is beautiful and nurturing, but guys are taught, and boys at a young age, oh yes, express your emotion, and oh, you're sad, okay, don't worry about it. And what guys actually need is they need like conversations like me and you will have. We need to say, look, man, I'm actually like really struggling with this, and okay, I need you to go, man, I feel you, thank you for telling me. I need to feel heard and understood. And then we need to take action, because the only way that a man actually solves those problems isn't by telling everyone.
We're problem solvers, bro.
We're problem solvers.
Yeah, like that's the thing. That's like one of the massive differences between men and women, which I've discovered in the last 1 or 2 years of actually speaking to women. It's the fact that, like, whenever I'm speaking to a woman, she's telling me her problems, I'm here like, okay, solution 1, solution 2, solution 3, and she's like, man, just shut the hell up, man. I just want to talk, and I don't get it, and it actually drives me a bit insane. Yeah. But it takes a while for that to sink in, where it's like, women just literally want to be heard.
Understood.
And understood.
Yeah.
And men, we like to problem solve.
Yeah.
So you need a good circle of men around you who can actually help you, 1, talk through your emotions, because that's still important, and then 2, let's problem solve. Yeah. How do we fix that?
Yeah, absolutely. And you need that tough love from that brotherhood.
Yeah.
You absolutely need that. And it's also, you know, people talk about toxic masculinity. I don't know. There's toxic behaviors. I don't know if you can say there's one or the other. But, like, it is a toxic behavior when guys don't give each other the space to sort of... Because, you know, we have a mental health crisis with men. They're killing themselves left, right and centre. Now, it's not about... And this is the problem, which is kind of what I was saying. In schools, and we've noticed that there's a problem in society. And unfortunately, the way that we've tried to solve it is actually making it worse for men. We're like, oh yeah, you know, it's probably because like you need to talk about it for hours at therapy.
Talk about it for hours and take the pills. That'll make you feel better. Yeah. Talk about your mental anguish and all of your problems for hours upon hours. If I did that, which I did, I hated it. It was one of the worst things ever. Yeah. I'm basking in my own failures and my own problems for hours at a time, talking about them, and then there's no solution at the end. There's no answer. There's no like. It's not a exact science, is it?
No.
Psychology is not an exact science. So there's no answer. So you're just reliving it in your head, and like. Yeah. It's just one of the worst things. It was one of the worst periods of my life when my mom didn't make me, but like she wanted me to heal, you know, she thought it was what was best for me. Go to therapy. I went to like 3 different therapists, and it was awful every time, man.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. One, having to like, also as guys, and I don't know how you found that. Was it a male or a female therapist?
One was male, two was male, one was female.
And did they sit you on like the chair and you had to look up?
They sat me on the chair. They sat me on the chair, and at that point in my life as well, like, man, I couldn't even make eye contact with people.
Yeah.
Like, I was like so out of it because I just went on like this very massive downward spiral from the age of like 13 up until this point where I was getting therapy when I was 21.
Yeah.
And frankly, like, bro, I couldn't even go to the local corner shop without having a panic attack. It was a 2-minute walk from my house. Like, I couldn't do it. My mom would be like, Sam, could you get milk? Could you go get milk from the corner store? I'd be like, I don't think I can.
Not today, yeah.
No, I don't think I can. Because it's like, it becomes like a mountainous task once you've like become so chronically like inside and online.
Yeah.
And the problem is I needed a strong man at that point to say to me, like, Sam, this isn't the right path, you're doing the wrong things, you're feeling this way because of this.
Yeah.
But I love my mom, love my mom, angel, but it's not what I need. I didn't need that nurturing, don't worry, Sam, I'll keep you safe. I needed a man to say, listen, Sam, I love you and all, but you're doing all this wrong. This is how you get out of this situation. And I didn't get that.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. It's a few things there. One, it's amazing to see, like, I can't imagine you like that. You're so confident, you're so well spoken, like, you come across, you say exactly what you mean, you're not afraid to say fucking anything. Like, I've heard you on the phone with people, I've heard you, like, and that's why I respect you. Like, I'll say something, you're like, no. I'm like, I might disagree with you or not, it doesn't matter, but you're just like, no, and that's amazing to think how far you've come from that. So that's fucking incredible.
Thank you, bro.
Of course, man. And I think, again, it's interesting you said about like the woman's tendency to just nurture, feel them safe. Well, if they feel safe and they can just express themselves and feel understood, then they'll be okay. But
specifically a mother.
Yeah.
A mother is like, man,
You'll
never get love like how your mom gives you love, man.
But you won't grow necessarily.
Exactly. It's an absolutely beautiful thing, though. That needs to be appreciated. A mother's love is absolutely beautiful. Once in a lifetime type of love. It's the only unconditional love you'll ever experience in your life. Yeah.
That and maybe a dog. Maybe an Alsatian as well.
And a dog. Maybe a dog, yeah.
But not the same. Like, I shouldn't compare like Alsatian with a dog. But no, like, you are right. Like, mother's love, something incredible. What I was going to mention is, like, you kind of said you kind of needed a man to say, look, hey man, this is how you should deal with your problems. In a way, yes, but also having a guy to come in and say, okay, right, me and you were going for a walk, we're going to put up a tent, or we're just going to go and we're going to do a big hike, and it's going to be hard and it's going to be snowy. And it's not even, it's like you need that forward momentum. That's what you need. And going for a walk, that's something outside, doing something difficult. And then that release you felt after that, going on that hike, you're like, I felt something there. I don't know what it was. Okay, maybe I'll go for more hikes. And I'm not saying that hiking's the answer, but then you have time for more introspection. You're getting healthier. You're outside more. You're doing something that's difficult. And like, I think that's the wisdom of men. Sometimes it's, you know, when they say maybe they don't talk about emotions as much. Yes, but I think that a wise man knows that like action is needed, and sometimes it doesn't need to be spoken about. Sometimes a thing for a boy is like, right, you need to join the rugby team. You need some discipline in your life. We don't need to talk about shit. We don't need to talk about your behaviour at all. We just need to take you to rugby, and you need to go to training 2 times a week, and you need to get hit hard a few times, and do that for a year. Yep. Okay, now let's start to have a conversation. And sometimes that's all you need. And I think trying to pick apart too much is actually very damaging. Or can be very damaging. I have a great friend. He really loves walking. He knows every trail in the UK. Like he takes me and my friends walking, and he's like, we're like, mate, where's the path? He's like, there is no path. I have a compass, and you follow me. And we're like, how long did you say this is going to be? And he's like, he lies every single time. Like, 4 or 5 hours. It's always like 10 hours, but it's great. And we go like, it's windy and it's raining and it's snow and it's this and there's a cliff there, and we're like, do you know where we are? But by the end of it, we sit and we have a burger or whatever at the end, and we're like, it's that sense of camaraderie and that brotherhood.
Yeah, you've just been through a journey together, man.
Totally.
Yeah.
And also, the final point on that is to kind of wrap up all this whole sort of mental health thing. Girls can sit and have a coffee opposite each other. They talk about their relationships and this and that and look at each other in the eyes and like express it all, and I can't believe you feel like that, amazing, thank you for sharing that, and that they feel full, and that's amazing. Encourage that. Guys, if we did that, we'd be cracking jokes because we'd feel awkward, We need to be working on something, shoulder to shoulder, eyes both in the same direction. That's when we open up, you know?
Smashed it, bro. Yeah, absolutely. We need an objective. When I'm sat still doing nothing, like when I'm sat having a little fucking chit chat, you know, oh, how was the weather today? Oh, you did this today. You know what I mean? Like, I can't. I lose my mind, and that might be a bit of a problem for me at the same time, because I've run into the issue now where, like, I can't sit at a beach and just enjoy the beach and just sit there and not think about anything but the beach. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because, like, yeah, it could lead to burnout if I'm not able to just enjoy a beach. But at the same time, I just feel like I'm starting to lose my mind when I'm sat there and I'm thinking about all the things that I could be doing and all the things I could be achieving, rather than sat on this fucking beach.
Yeah, I know. And I think maybe, like, I think we're probably both, I can definitely resonate with that feeling. I think perhaps we're both at a stage where we realise sort of how the lucky position we're in. We're young. We're still very young. We're healthy. We've got literally we've got limitless opportunity ahead of us. Literally limitless opportunity ahead of us. And yes, there is time for relaxing, obviously. But this is exciting. Like, that, mate, there's limitless opportunity in front of us, and I think we both know that. And I think that idea of sitting at a beach is like, well, yeah, this is great. Like, I'm happy at the beach and I could be content for like 25 minutes. But then also, there's limitless possibility. If I work on this and I do this and I can do this, then I can. And I know you shouldn't. You should just be happy with kind of everything you have now. But I think there is that urge for just. It's like exploration. It's excitement. Well, what could I create my life to be? And yeah, relax, sit on the beach, enjoy the moment. And I spoke with a yogi the other week. Really cool guy. He's ex-professional football player, actually. Really interesting story, actually. Ex-professional football player. Very, very talented. Came out, he was in Koh Phangan over there, teaching yoga now, and he's just so at peace. And he said that when he was in the football team, let's say you win a game, you've won the game, and then already in the locker room you're talking about the next game. You're talking about, right, well, we need to win the next game now. So even once you kind of achieved something, there was, okay, what's next? And you were like never satisfied. It was like you were always on edge. And I think for him, coming and having that complete balance and like like going to yoga and having nothing to do but focus on your body has been a real nice balance for him. But I found that really, really interesting. And because we had a conversation about, because I said to him this, I was like, yeah, look, yoga's amazing, and I practiced a bit of yoga and I love the feeling. And yeah, I love the idea of, be present here just now, and like, this is all we really have, and enjoy and appreciate fully the moment. But also, the roads need building, and like, the sewers we need, like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's great, and we should enjoy each moment, but there's stuff needs to be done, I think, and men do those things. So, yeah, I don't really know if I have like a logical sort of conclusion with that, but it's just something I find interesting, because I know there's a great benefit in being peaceful, sitting on a beach, finding the moment and appreciating it fully. But also, it isn't there does have to be some form of momentum. The
thing is with me, I think one of my problems is the fact that I feel like people work their entire lives to get to this position we're in right now on this island with these beautiful beaches and this level of freedom.
Yeah.
And I feel like I am blessed because I am the only person in my bloodline currently who can actually sort of change the trajectory of my family's bloodline.
Awesome.
Of just, let's say they're stuck in the matrix. They're stuck in the matrix. They're going down the life path which has been laid out to them by people who do not have their best interests at heart, and they don't realize it.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that there's so much more to life. And I am in the unique position in my bloodline where I can actually take this car, which is driving off a fucking cliff, and I can go, nope, and I can actually change the trajectory of my entire family's bloodline, and it starts at me.
Nice.
And I think that's a massive motivating factor for me, and also why I struggle to relax.
Yes.
Because I'm seeing what there is out there, and I've not yet got the results that I want in terms of getting complete and utter freedom for my family. So when I'm sat on a beach and I'm just sat, like idle, chilling, I have a very hard time to enjoy that when I could be doing so much more to achieve freedom for my loved ones. And I think that's, I don't think that's a bad thing, even though it's a bit toxic and like, yeah, maybe it leads to a burnout on my end, and perhaps like, you know, I make a lot of sacrifices for that. I think there's not a more beautiful thing I can do for my loved ones and my family who I cherish so much, and they brought me into this world. Also just my future wife as well. I need to set her up, my children, all of that. There's no better mission that I could have than to achieve freedom for those people.
That's awesome, man. Like, that's a huge mission. I've got a question for you. What it's related. Like, I think you've touched upon it, but is that what gets you out of bed in the morning? Like, because you said you were someone you were happy to sort of jump out and you'd sit on your computer, video games, whatever. And I've definitely been in stages similar to that. We all have different vices. But what, at the moment, gets you out of bed in the morning?
Absolutely that. Absolutely the idea that I have to change the trajectory of my bloodline. I have the unique opportunity to get my family, you know, change the trajectory of that car driving off a cliff.
Okay, yeah.
And I can 180 that and start to bring beautiful fruits of my labor to my loved ones. And that is 100% the reason why I do what I do every day.
Congrats, man. That's sick to hear. Motivating to hear.
What about you?
What gets me out of bed in the morning?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's that similar. I think it's a guilt. It's the thing. It's interesting. I had this conversation with someone the other day. Actually, it's like, how do you wake up? Do you wake up happy or do you wake up a little bit angry? And I was like, I wake up a little bit fucking annoyed. I don't know why that is.
I get that sometimes.
Do you get that?
I wake up with just a random bit of anger, and I'm like, why have I not got more?
Yeah.
There's so much money out there.
Yeah.
There's so much like, you know, there's so much abundance that I don't have.
Yeah.
You know, people spend their money in such dumb ways. They drop, you know, 5K at a club. And I'm like, why is that money not mine? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You wake up with a certain anger, and you're like, okay, I'm going to kill the day.
Yeah, I love that. Sorry, I've got some fucking money to make today. Like, come on. And you get up, get going in the shower, and like, yeah, I think that. And I think also like love and appreciation from my parents. They did beautiful things for me, made sure I had amazing experiences. As with all, like, I have nothing bad to say about my parents at all. Like, as with all childhoods, it's a childhood. There's ups and downs, there's roller coasters. You learn everything. You get trauma. You don't. Like, that's life. But like, they went out their way to give me and my brother like some just beautiful experiences. And me sitting around doing the bare minimum, working a 9 to 5 and doing what's easy, even though they might think that's what they want for me, because their parents always want you to be comfortable. Yeah. They don't want you to take. Parents will never take, and this is what people have to realise. Your parents will never necessarily support the idea of you taking that big risk. So don't look for their approval, because they just want you to be comfortable. They're like, look, well, Sam, just stay in the job. It's fine. You're going to be okay. You can then buy a house, and it's out of love. So like, so anyone who's kind of thinking that, don't be like pissed off at your parents. Just do it. Like, don't be an idiot, and like respect them, of course, but they're never going to push you to your limit, because they just want you to be comfortable. Because then they can feel like they've done their job. But for you to kind of have those big gains, you are going to have to take the risks. And if they're honest, when they made those jumps in their life, they took big risks as well, and that's when they saw payoff. So I think that's kind of like worth saying. In terms of like, yeah, that is that guilt. It's like they gave me, you know, this amazing life, you know, and to respect that, I want to, you know, give that back in their retirement, in their older age as well. I want them to have completely stress-free retirement.
Do you feel like a honor to your bloodline at all?
Good question. How do you mean?
Like, you know, your ancestors who literally got blown to bits in trenches, chopped up into pieces in wars. For you to be here right now on this balcony smoking a cigar with Sam Harborne. They went through all of that just so you could smoke this cigar with Sam Harborne on this balcony.
I'm having a nice time as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. My grandpa on my mum's side, he was a navigator in the Royal Air Force, and Interesting story. I won't go into it all, but essentially, his plane got shot down in France. He survived. The pilot didn't survive, as far as I'm aware. It's great. I was actually with my uncle a few months ago, and he has like the kind of a newspaper article detailing all of this. It's an amazing story. To be honest, it's a film. He had some injuries, but he was taken in by this French family. He was like dressed. He worked on the farm for months. As he like healed, got better, and then when I think it was D-Day happened, they managed to like ship them all across. So it's like you said, like all of these people, not just your family, but like yes, your family, because they're the ones who really cared for you, but all of these people throughout existence who've helped each other out just for the sake of doing the right thing or life continuing to lead to this. And then if I'm in my room just staying up late looking at titties on the internet,
Jacking off.
"Whoa," like all of that was for that, was it?
Yeah.
And it's no wonder that, like, you know, they say like, you know, what is luck? And I do think that a lot of luck comes from if you continually do the things you know you should be doing, then things will start falling into place. Call that luck, but you have that wind, like the wind in your sails, because you continue to do the right things. Whereas if you are doing those things that you know, and we all know what we should and shouldn't be doing, if we're doing those things, then I don't feel like that wind is in your sails. Which again, it isn't the reason to do it. But yeah, you're so right. It's like all of these people who've done the right thing, who've flawed people, but they've all in these situations. One little thing could have gone differently, and you know you're not even here. So how are you going to spend your time? You know,
Jacking off, bro.
Jacking off
Playing Fortnite, man.
Jacking off playing Fortnite. Maybe they'll be really proud, actually.
Yeah, like, man.
Wish I could do that.
I was talking about this with a friend recently. Like, humanity is its own. We're our own worst enemy at the same time as being like so intelligent. Because like here, just some context for these guys. Here on this island, there are these trucks that go round this island with big speakers on the back, and they essentially blast really loud music and advertisements at the same time. And I'm just thinking, like, those trucks are designed specifically to make someone's head turn, and then you see the advertisement. But it makes living here worse. It makes living here worse. When you're walking down a road, you're on a beautiful Thailand road, you got palm trees, and then you've got this big loud truck plowing through with a big advertisement, like Muay Thai fights, and they also do it for bars as well, like, oh, come to our bar and stuff. Like, the reason we're able to do that is because we're so intelligent in terms of how we understand how human psychology works, and like we get people to turn their heads and then they see the ad. That's ingenious. We're like so smart, but then we are also our own worst enemies because we do that at the detriment of our own living experience here on planet Earth. Now imagine that on a much larger scale. Imagine you are a massive corporation and you have a bunch of numbers in front of you, and you see this option A will, you know, it will cost this much, but it will make planet Earth a nicer place, and it won't be so polluted, and like we won't be dumping a bunch of like nuclear waste into a lake or whatever. But this one's got a smaller number, and it will cost us less, but it makes planet Earth a worse place. Just imagine all of those decisions on such a grand scale when you are like a massive corporation. We're our own worst enemy. And the thing is, us peons, you know, who don't run these massive corporations, we sit here and we think like, yeah, I'd never make that decision. But we would, because we're humans.
Yeah.
If we were in that exact same position, we would make the same choice. We're no better.
It's interesting, eh? Very interesting. I like how you articulated that there. And I liked how you gave credit for the guys rolling around going, Muay Thai fight, tonight. I liked how you said that was genius. I think they'd be pretty happy to
It's genius.
to know that what they're doing is pure genius.
The loud music. And there's also like these small little like, they're not trucks. They're like little food stands on bikes. And they roll through, and they have a squeaky duck toy hanging from their thing. And sometimes when they're driving, they'll just like do the beep, 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 beep. And you're like, what? You're walking through and you're like, what the hell was that? And you turn around you see their food truck.
That gets you.
And they get you every single time.
It's really interesting, and we can go. There's so many different like lines you can go from this. It's a few concepts. With great power comes great responsibility. Okay, yin and yang, balance. Now, with all of this technology and this advanced advertising power that we have now at our fingertips, and we're getting to the point now where like AI, we were speaking about this the other day, AI is going to literally be able to generate the perfect advert for you. It's going to take into account all of the variables, the time of day, how you're feeling, where you've been, your location. Like, I mean, that's even to name a few. What your habits have been scrolling throughout the day. It's going to take in all of that data,
oh my God.
and it's going to go, here's the perfect ad for you. And literally with AI and video creation, it's going to get to the point where it's not only going to find the best fit, it's literally going to create the best fit. You're going to log on to Netflix. There isn't going to be Netflix shows. There's going to be again, with all of that data, the thing that you would most like to watch right now. And probably as you're watching it, depending on if it's got access to like your heart rate and everything, your blood pressure, it could probably even change. Like it's going to be like, there's going to be a reality that can happen in front of you that is adapting perfectly to stimulate you in the way to keep you watching longer.
Oh
like,
God, man, that's scary.
It's scary. So here's what I mean. With great power comes great responsibility. Yin and yang, you have to balance. And I was thinking about this the other day. We have to be contradictions. And I wrote a few stories about this on my Instagram, and a few people messaged me going, huh? But we have to be a walk-in contradiction. The better at understanding technology and this kind of digital, unfeeling, unemotional, purely logical world that we're creating, we also have to have a very deep spiritual understanding and connection and guidance. Otherwise, we are fucked.
We are fucked though, because who is connected to their spiritual self nowadays? They're so like distracted and dopamined up or whatever with like all these modern day distractions that people are not connected to that sort of spiritual plane which they have.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's where I think there is a mission there, and I think that is going to be the next wave. I think it's things go in pendulums. I think you said this earlier as well, man. Like it swings one way and then it comes back the other.
Yeah.
And what the next thing is, and this is the thing, it always goes too far, and that's when it comes back again, left and right, and that's why we never get anywhere. Or we do, but just slowly. Like the way I like to think about it is, and I often use this to describe like liberals and conservatives and explain this to people, that we really do need very liberal thinking people. We need them because liberal people, and Jordan Peterson says this all the time, they're the ones that come up with ideas. Very liberal people, they're like, well, what if we were just like all okay and we all had enough food and like we just kind of was delivered to your door? Communism. Like, so like that's what they think. But really, it's quite a nice idea. But you need a conservative person who understands systems, structures, who understands finance and understands everything to go, right, well, great idea, here's the best we can do, here's the systems. The conservative person isn't usually the person who's going to be kind of necessarily coming up with these ideas. You need a balance, and that's why when someone's like, oh, I'm this or I'm this, it's like, well, we need both. But the way I like to think about it, and for some reason I have this visual, like the planet and society, everything we're walking along a very, very narrow road with steep drops either side, and I like to think that we're riding a donkey, and there's a big bear with me here, there's a big stick on the back of the donkey, and you have like principle one, like being liberal, and then you have like the conservatism on the other side. If you just lean too much one way, right, we're heading off the cliff. Okay, so now we need to and what we're very bad at doing is, rather than just going, right, we need to have the balance.
Let's just balance.
Let's balance, and we'll walk along. We go like this, oh, okay, no, it's too far. And then we go, oh, no, okay, it was too far this way. And that's literally how we move along, is we're just like constantly swinging like chaos, and it's not a pleasurable ride. But if we understand and appreciate that we actually need both, and it's the same thing with technology. We're going to need this technology, and it has the possibility to make our lives just done. Easy. But then we also need to have that sense of purpose and meaning. We need deep spiritual connection to whatever that is, whatever you want to call it, God, understanding, deeper understanding, whatever. We're going to need that balance. Otherwise, we are just going to tip the wrong way, and we are just going to plug ourselves in and have an infinite entertainment machine, and we're just going to, like Wall-E, the movie, plugged in, tube here for food, entertainment there, just that is very, very possible. So but there is great benefit from this technology. It's not all evil. So how do we counter that? It's going to be the complete opposite. So it is that spiritual
The thing that
understanding.
scares me is not so much how we use it as humans, even though that is a problem, certainly, because people are lost in the source, like very lost in the source. What scares me is like who's running this
Yes.
technology, who's at the top, because like
Yeah.
power corrupts, bro.
Mm.
Like there's going to be a point where we don't have to really work anymore and stuff because of this AI, whatever, you know, and someone's going to be in charge of like the food,
Yep.
you know, if you're going to have a house, we're going to have like social credit scores.
Mm-hmm.
That is scary. That should scare anyone.
Oh, yeah.
That should scare anyone. And if that's not enough motivation for you to actually sit up out of your chair and think, what the fuck am I doing right now?
Yeah.
Playing video games and jacking off every day.
Yeah.
Why am I not trying to get as much wealth and abundance as I
Yeah.
possibly can for the protection of myself and my family?
Yeah.
Because there's a wild ass era of time coming up. Like, I don't know what is going to motivate you.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right. And I've definitely had that awakening in my life where it's like, oh shit, I need to get to work. Like, yeah, let's go. I think like the whole idea of kind of, you know, the financial freedom online, you know, you see kids all the time, like, I'm starting an SMMA, all right, good luck. It's like, oh, I'm doing this. You know, like, I'm doing this. It's like, okay, good, you got the energy behind you, and it's amazing. I'm very excited for this next generation of, like, young lads coming up, because I talk to them, bro, and they're like, yeah, well, this, and then I'll have, like, passive income doing this, and I'm like, I didn't know what passive income was when I was 18.
I was playing Minecraft, bro.
Yeah, and they've switched on. Like,
Yeah,
they
it's
will
nice.
do well. It's really good. They will do well, and like
That's why our work's so important as well. Because like I say, like you say with this pendulum, it's swung in one way. Okay, everyone's distracted. Minecraft, Fortnite, TikTok, and they still are. But we're seeing now it's starting to swing back.
Yeah.
And now we're kind of at this point now.
Yeah.
So this is the extreme end, like
Yeah.
jacking off Minecraft. We're about like here, you know? We're about to...
Those things that happening at the same time, they'll...
I mean, it depends.
It depends.
Depends how much you're stacking the dopamine. Now, let me think. Did I ever jack off and play Minecraft at the same time? No,
No.
I didn't. But we're about here. We're about here. It's like it's about to swing in this way, and I have like good hope and faith in the next generation of men
Yes.
to be strong, because the baseline of every problem in the world starts at young men. And if young men are all weak, are all distracted, and are not doing the right things with their time, then we're screwed.
Yes.
And we're going to need strong men really soon. There's going to be like bad things happening in the world. We saw glimpses of it already with the cough, you know.
Cough.
I'm not going to talk about the cough, but like there's hard times coming, and we're certainly going to need strong men who are clued up about all of these things, and that's why our work is so important.
I think it's something that's worth saying here, and it ties into what I was saying about the men, like young lads, like starting a hustle, and like probably initially your first hustle. I mean, I hope it works. And there's some of the 18-year-olds who are making like more a month than I've ever made. Like, mate, it's
killers,
crazy.
Man, killers,
and fair play. And I'm not bashing that at all. But also equally as important as you developing your like skills, high value skills in order to earn more money. Yes, very important. As important is a network of people who challenge you, people who are also pushing and talking to them all the time and keeping your standards high. Iron sharpens iron. That's how you're going to level up, and you can't do it just on your own. And now I'm going to give an example. Around like the cough, whatever, around all of it, like I was very against getting anything stuck in me. Very, very against it. I don't need it. I'm healthy. I'm this. I'm that. And I was very switched on with what was going on. I knew what it was. I'm jabbed, and it wasn't my decision. Basically, the reason it happened was my dad's. He's like late 70s now. I hadn't seen them for a while. In order to get back to where the country my parents are in, I had to have it, and my decision was not get it, or risk not seeing them for however long, you know? And that's the reason that I got it. And okay, I'm okay at the moment. Who knows what happens? Someone flicks a button at some point and then like off. I don't know, you know, like, whatever.
Who knows,
Who
man?
knows? You know, my kid comes out with horns. I don't know. Like seriously, like who knows? And I'm regret getting it. But at the time, the group around me, we all kind of fell into relationships just after that first wave of everything that went on. And I think a lot of people did that because everyone had been on their own and then everyone kind of got into a relationship. All of us, and I'll be honest, all of us, girls tend to be much happier just sort of to go along with the status quo. It's not their job to be necessarily, a lot of the time, to be like, nope, this is what I think. Like, they just like, you know, okay, just come on, get this, do that. That's what's the right thing. If that's what the government says, do it.
Starts at men, man. Starts at men.
Starts at men. But this is the thing. All of us, because we kind of, and this was my group at the moment, this was my network, we kind of slipped into, and we had been talking like 6 months ago, like, no, we'll never do this, da-da-da. One of us fell, and then the other one fell, and then the other one fell. And I'm not saying, because it's on us, because we need to be strong and have conviction with what our thoughts and what we said we would do. And I'm ashamed to say that, like, we all fell, and I fell. And if I had had a network of others, and the reason that I eventually went for it is because I tricked myself to thinking, well, look, they've done it, and you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Well, they've done it, they're doing it, it's probably okay. I knew as that thing was going in that that's not what I wanted to do. I knew it, but because of my network, and again, nothing against them, I felt alone. I felt like I was the only one who had those thoughts. Maybe I am being an idiot, and I didn't have anyone else to be like, oh, you're not, no. Tom, we said, no, we're doing that. 2 other lads, no, we're not doing that. That's what we said. This is this, and I wouldn't have. And look, I've got to take responsibility. I did it. It all starts and ends with me. But the financial skills and everything that you develop, having a strong network of guys you really, really trust and who test you is equally as important, because when it becomes to those decisions in your life that are potentially life-changing decisions, you know you've got people around you who've got your back and won't let you slip. And I think that that's equally as important for developing. You can't have like the financial wealth if you haven't got that network around you. I don't think you can just have that on your own. Maybe like you're lucky, but I think you need to build that with a team.
Yeah. A lot of people ask me, Sam, how have you had such a crazy growth trajectory? How have you grown as a man like so quickly?
Yeah.
And honestly, I think the answer lies in the fact that I constantly surround myself with bigger fish.
Yes.
I am always the smaller fish. And yes, it's uncomfortable, but it has inspired such a level of growth in me where I'm like, I'm so sick of being the smaller fish. I'm so sick of not making any money. I'm so sick of not getting any bitches.
Yeah, okay.
Everyone around me is getting loads of money and loads of bitches. I'm getting nothing, and that's unacceptable. Or maybe I'm not getting nothing, but I'm not getting as much. A lot of people get caught in the trap of being complacent as the big fish. Like, oh yeah, I'm the big don. I'm the big don, you know. What are you the big don of? Are you the big don of Weatherspoons? You know what I mean? Or are you the big don of the League of Legends lobby? You know, who cares? Who cares?
Yeah.
I constantly surround myself with people who brutally mog me in every realm. And that is my superpower as to how I've been able to grow at such a rapid pace, because I've had to. It's impossible to not be a killer when you're surrounded by killers.
Yeah.
It's an incredible superpower to obtain when you infiltrate a network of high value men who are all on their shit, and you feel so uncomfortable with who you are at that moment. And it inspires such a quick pace for growth, just surrounding yourself with people like that all the time.
Yeah.
I'm always a small fish.
I love that, man. I love that. And it's like, because it's every decision. Look, everything matters. Act like everything matters. It does. Everything fucking matters. And this is me speaking to myself, because there's things I need to improve on. Every decision you make, buying that chocolate bar, doing this, da-da-da-da, it matters. It matters.
And you need men around you who tell you, no, it's not okay to buy that chocolate.
Or just watch what they lead by example, isn't it? It's
lead
by example, and it's
bro. The amount of times, man, the amount of times that I've been sat at a restaurant with some of my boys, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get a pizza, I'm gonna get like a pasta. I think I deserve it, and they don't even say anything to me. I can feel that their respect levels lower for me subconsciously. And that's powerful in itself because you don't even have to say anything.
Yeah.
You just make better decisions when you're around dudes who make better decisions and mog you.
It's peer pressure.
This dude's getting chicken and rice. I'm about to get macaroni cheese.
Yeah.
Really? Like, I'm looking at the menu. This guy, he's ordering. Yeah, I'll have a chicken and rice and, you know, a watermelon
liver,
shake. And a liver. I'll have a raw liver. And I'm looking at the menu like, oh, I really fancy a pizza. And I listen to that order.
Split,
Yeah. And I listen to that order and I'm like, there's no way I can, like, with a straight face, make an order of a pizza and macaroni and cheese when this absolute killer with a 6-pack and is built to fuck and has, you know, 10 kg of lean muscle on me is going to eat chicken and rice in front of me. There's no way. It's a superpower having a network of dudes and a specifically bigger fish. It's how you power level and you constantly make better decisions when you surround yourself with people like that.
How'd you get in those rooms? How'd you get invited to that dinner?
Another question which I get all the time. And to me, the answer is to choose a skill and to become absolutely excellent at it. Absolute top of your field. A lot of people get this wrong when they see high performance and they think like, yeah, that guy is good at this and this and this and this. The only reason he's able to be excellent at those things is because of his network. Usually, he's just been an expert of one thing, excellent at it, just knew all the ins and outs, and it's a skill which people need, these high-value people they need. He's got his foot in the door to those networks with that skill, and then they feed off each other. And then you can become a more jack of all trades, you can become good at a bunch of different things. A lot of these young gunners, they see these like high influencer dudes and they're like, yeah, he's good at all these things, I need to be good at everything. Not the case. Choose a skill, one skill that's marketable, future-proof, and will get your foot into these networks, become absolutely insanely good at it, and you will become a valuable person. You'll also enter the feedback loop of like becoming a confident, high-value man yourself, and you begin to like act like that as well. And you'll literally just find these people. They'll fall on your lap. If you become someone who is knowledgeable on something, you can start actually giving your knowledge to the sorts of dudes which you want to be rolling with. It's not an easy way, but it's the only way to actually infiltrate these networks.
I think that's good advice. I think that's definitely good advice. I think also as well, like people don't realise that a genuine compliment goes a long way, and also people who are on a journey of like progressing, they see when someone else is on that journey. Like there's that saying, hate never comes from above. Hate never comes from above. If you see someone you're like, they got fire, they're going, maybe you look at you're in the wrong direction, but you're going. Like, you're not going to go, I'll watch them burn and fall off a cliff. Because you can relate to them in that situation, you go, right, read this book, do this.
You need a good heart as well. You certainly need a good heart. And I think that...
Be genuine.
Genuine, good heart. And yeah, a lot of people, they're filled up with like envy and hatred. And I can't relate to that on any level. I don't even know where that comes from. It's despicable. And this energy is infectious. And even if you're not outright with it, people will suss you out. I can't even speak on like people who have like this innate negative energy. I can't even speak on it. Like, can you? Do you know people like that? Do you even understand the psychology behind that? Because I don't.
No, I think so.
I'll tell you what, I suss them out like
that. When someone wants something, like, and they're like, everyone wants something always, but like, it's when it's just like about them. But I think that's what I mean. Like, here's a great thing to do. And like, I love watches. Again, like, still just starting the collection, but I love watches. It's a great thing to learn about. It's actually a really valuable thing to know a decent amount about watches. Why? Because you can spot someone wearing a watch that you know, and you can kind of go, that's worth about £25,000. That's worth about 10,000. That's a beautiful root beer that you're wearing. I see you've got it on the Jubilee bracelet. Beautiful. Just wanted to say I love that watch. Congratulations. Oh, awesome. And what they're going to say, fuck you. Like, but oh, thank you, man. Yeah, there's always a story behind when you buy a watch. Watches are always special. So, oh yeah, actually I got this, or me and my girlfriend went here, and like it was whatever. There's a story. So they're opening up to you. Obviously, this person has likely done something that's been able to generate a decent amount of money if they're smart and they've spent that on their watch. They've probably got an awful lot more than that. Okay, so now you're having a conversation. Say, hey, look, I'm working on a few things at the moment. I've really appreciated it. Is there any books that you've read that have really helped you along the way? Is there anything? You've now given someone a genuine compliment about something that they care about, and you obviously have somewhat of an interest in it as well, so they're open to talking. So you're on their level with that. Then if you ask, and this is something that anyone can do, then you say, well, any bit of advice, any book that's really changed your life, I'd love to read it. They'll be like, yeah, definitely read this, this, and this. They're gonna go out their way to help you. And I think that that's a really powerful thing to get into the habit of doing. There's no downside for that. There's no downside. I'm not saying watches is necessarily things you could do with cars. You could do it with anything. These people are going to give you really valuable advice, and you're also going to forge a relationship. You're probably going to network, but hey, look, they'll get you on LinkedIn as well. Awesome. Oh, let's exchange Instagrams. Great. So now you've actually built a relationship with someone, and they've passed on some valuable knowledge. And the thing is, you have to come in humble, because if you come in being like,
oh yeah, that's a nice watch you got there, bro. Yeah, I've got one of those as well.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Cheers, man. See ya. But you have to be humble, and you have to accept, look, this person's doing better than me financially. Whether who knows what's going on in their life. It doesn't
even matter, bro. Even if you're like a killer, it's still a good idea to like. People talk too much as well, man.
Yes.
People talk way too much. Like,
listen.
Yeah. I think like Hormozy said something like that. He goes into rooms and like he just listens to people speak, and they don't even like know who they're talking to, and they're saying like, oh yeah, I did this and I did this and I did this, and Hormozy's just there like, man, just let them speak, and they don't even realize the opportunity that they're missing out on when they just keep yapping away about how epic they are. You know.
Yeah, you're so right.
Yeah.
And what like you said, what does he respond to that? Like, oh, awesome. Whereas there's literally a treasure chest in front of them.
Yeah.
Like, and how do you open him up? That's the question. Like, how do you show genuine value? You have a high skill. Like, I do this. Oh, that's interesting. Have you tried X, Y, and Z? Like, start the conversation, but you have to be humble. You have to know where you are. You can't pretend that you're someone who you're not, and you're not where you are. You be humble. And like another example of that, if someone's got a beautiful girlfriend, like with them, let's say, again, be genuine with your compliment. Like, maybe she goes to the toilet, they're out to say, hey sir, look, I just wanted to say, look, I hope you take this the right way. Like, your wife, your girlfriend, she's absolutely gorgeous. Just want to say, like, it's amazing. Like, I've had ups and downs with women in the past, and like, is there any bit of advice that you can give me? Like, what dude's going to be like? Maybe some dude will be like, fuck off, kid. Like, but find opportunities like this. If you can't infiltrate this network, and then they're going to give you valuable bits of advice that someone else gave them, and then you read a book, and then you do this, and then it leads to that, and there's no like shortcut to it, but like all of these little nuggets of information, they're around you. It's like, make it a game. How can I find it? You know, it's something that I think is great. And like, I have a rule that on a train or on a plane, I will always talk to the person sat opposite or next to me. Always. A lot of the time I meet some weirdos. A lot of the time it was a bad idea, but sometimes I've made some unbelievable connections. I've made some people, actually one of my best friends, and my guy Dan, we travel together now, like, he's one of my best friends. I met him, I got on a train, there was one of those tables, it's in the UK, I was going to a gig, he was going back home to where he lived. I sat opposite him. Now, usually most people, right, plug a podcast in, whatever, watch latest Netflix, look out the window, bored, when can I get there? Hey man, what are you working on? Oh, I'm actually working on my first startup. Oh, cool, what's your startup in? Blah, blah, blah. Oh man, that sounds fucking awesome. Blah, blah. Where are you going? Oh, I'm going to a gig. Oh, cool, what do you do? I'm a DJ. All right, nice. What are you doing in May, Tom? I don't know, I'll finish this and then I'll actually be a bit free. Would you like to come to Europe with me? Genuinely, this happened. Would you like to come to Europe? I'm running some events to launch my new app. We need a DJ. Yeah, I'll come. Now he's one of my best friends. Like,
that's insane.
Isn't that insane? So whenever it's a love story, really. Like, whenever we tell people when we're together, we're like, it's a bit of a love story. But that one moment, it's kind of like what we spoke about earlier, that all these little moments, everything matters. Everything matters. Like, I've met a lot of his network through being very close friends with him. All of his network are fucking entrepreneurs. All of his like network are like worth awful lot of money. So now I'm at a table with people who like are doing really, really well for themselves. Now I can ask and listen. I can sit and listen and ask directed questions and be like, "That's fucking interesting. Okay, what about that?" Boom, boom. Absorb.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't have had that opportunity if I'd have just been, and I wasn't like, oh, what are you doing? Like, what can I get out of it? Just genuine curiosity. And like, that's something that I know has served me really, really well.
That's really interesting. Like, I think that's something that I struggle with as well. Like, I struggle with small talk in general. I struggle to show like a genuine interest in people, and I think that's like, I mean, from what you're telling me, that seems to be like quite a toxic thing. Because like, honestly, even if I do speak to someone and they turn out to be a bum, it's like, okay, so what? So I move on.
Yeah.
There's no real like downside to that. Like if I'm going about my day, if I'm on a train, or if I'm like traveling or something, there's no downside to me being able to like just speak to the person next to me, and maybe they're an interesting person. You know, even if they're not, it's like, okay, so just move on.
I'll be honest, Brian, and a lot of the time, they're going to find you fucking interesting.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, oh, so God, fucking Sam, I met on the train. Like, oh, he's off to Thailand, he's doing this. Like, oh, he's got a YouTube channel, bang, right.
And then they sub.
They sub, and it's all about the subs. But then they're like, but then they tell their friends, oh, you need to talk to this guy. Suddenly you've got a client because someone passed you on. Like, it works both ways. You know, like, oh, you need to speak to this guy, Tom. He does X, Y, and Z, da, da, da. Like, network is everywhere. Network's in the coffee shop. You know, people have knowledge, and if you're genuine, and if you like genuinely care about what it is they're doing, what they've got going on, like, people will go out of their way to help you out. But I think you attract what you are, and it's only if you would do that as well. If you know, I think you have to be it.
You need to be a giver.
You need to be a giver.
One of my goals in any social scenario is to leave that scenario giving more positive energy than what I take.
That's nice.
Because I think givers in life win. Like in the short term, takers win in the short term. But in the long term, takers, like I say, like these people, they're transparent. You know, you can feel them, you can suss them out.
Yeah.
If you're a giver, like there's a really good book on this called, I think it's just called Give and Take.
Yes.
Have you read that one?
Yeah, I've started it. I think it was something Hormozy recommended.
Really good book. And I don't read much.
Yeah.
I don't read much, but I actually read that book because I found the concept very interesting.
It's like give-take relationship, take-give relationship, and then there's like matches as
matches,
well.
Matches.
Yeah.
And matches are just sat in the middle. They're just boring. Boring.
Yeah. You do this, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
Yeah. I try to be a giver in every scenario that I can possibly be. Because I truly, not only just because I know that's beneficial for me in the long term, but genuinely because that fulfills me.
Yeah.
It makes me happy to leave social scenarios, and I'm not the best at social scenarios still. I'm still learning.
Yeah.
But like, it genuinely makes me feel fulfilled knowing that I've made someone's life a bit easier or a bit better. And I like to do that through humor as well. Like, I'm very intrinsically motivated by humor. Like when I was like really depressed, like down bad, the only thing that I would continue to do, which was semi-productive, you could argue incredibly productive, because it's led me to this video editing, journey that I've been on now. But like, the only thing I'd do is I'd edit my gaming highlights into like funny moments on YouTube. And the only reason I did that, no one else gave a fuck about those videos apart from my friends.
Yeah.
And I'd sit in a call with those guys, and they'd be like, oh, did you guys see Sam's video? Oh, it's so funny. And then we'd sit in there, we'd watch it, and they're all laughing, and I'd just be sat back with a massive grin on my face. I absolutely love making people laugh.
Mate, and I have to say, like, since we've been like working here and seeing you every other day, whatever it is, like I don't know how productive, because we've been pissing ourselves. Like, you're making me laugh all the time. Like, you're very, very funny. I love your sense of humour, man. I do love your sense of humour.
Cheers, bro.
But I think it's also interesting, the point there, that giving isn't just about like this, right, okay, we're in a situation now, like how can I give loads of value? You sitting and editing that video, okay, that needs to come in 1 second longer, shorter, quicker, and then actually I'll extend that bit, and then that will come, oh, that didn't quite work, now it quite works. And like that attention to detail, that's you giving, because then when your friend does watch that silly video of the funny moment, like you've got the timing right, and you've got the music and all of this, and you mixed it so it was a nice volume, like, so it had the effect that you wanted it to have, that humour. Like, exactly, that's giving as well. And let's say and I don't like the idea that you're an introvert or an extrovert. You have to be both. Like, we have to be both introverted and extroverted to exist. Like, anyone who just says I'm an introvert, it's just an excuse. Shut the fuck up. Like, you also need to be an extrovert as well. Like, it's a hiding mechanism. Like, or like someone who's lazy. I don't really want to do that because I'm an extrovert and I get my... Stop labeling yourself to put limitations on yourself. It's dumb. We have to be both in both situations. Yes, maybe we're more comfortable in one. That just means that we need to work on the other. But when you are doing work like that, because I was a music producer, still I'm a music producer, you go over a bit and you go over a bit and you go over a bit because you're aiming to capture a feeling to give to someone, and it's giving. And that's why like music is a service. When you're and it all comes down to service. How can I serve? And I mean that's a very sort of biblical principle as well. Like how can I be of service? I'm here to serve. And when you act in that way, more things come to you. Because you are being valuable, you're giving. Try and be on the giving end of value. Wayne Dyer, who I read all of his books. Someone I came across maybe like a year and a half ago and just blew me out of the water. This man really resonates with me. One of the things he says and the advice he gives to business owners and he gives to anyone really is like, if you're struggling with something in your life or something's not going as you would like it to go, rather than think about how can I fix this needs changing, giving it more effort, it's like, right, how can I give more today, right now? So it's like, right, go out, you got $5, you got you got 1,000 baht in your pocket, right, I'm just going to give it away, and just to get back into that mindset of giving, and then things kind of line themselves up. It's kind of like a weird rule of the universe.
Yeah, I really do. That resonates with me hard as well. I think that's really true. Like if you start becoming like super scarce with, just money's a great example. Yeah. Let's just use money. Like if you start becoming very scarce with your money, then your income will just dry up. But if you actually are a bit more like open to like, you give someone a fucking tip, for example, they do a good job, you give them like, a nice tip, makes their day much better. Like that money, I don't know how, it always finds its way back to you. Always does. It's the way the universe works.
Big tips. If it's worth it, of course. Like, I mean, I think there's sometimes an ego thing with tips as well. But I agree. Like, if someone's, you should always tip anyway. But like, if there's been a particularly good service, and most, here, anywhere, people who serve, the service they give you here is incredible. Yeah. Especially where I grew up as well. The service is incredible. You always tip. Like you said, they're not getting paid much anyway. It's like, what does that mean to you? And it always comes back. And that's not why you should do it. But
yeah, that money is not going to make like a significant difference in your life, like that fucking 50 baht or whatever. But like, if you give that to them, that's an immediate emotion in them where it's like, yes.
And it inspires more. Like it inspires them to do the same. It's like, right, let's say they're a young waiter and you've tipped them. Okay, you've tipped them 100 baht, 50 baht. Right, they're like that emotion of, okay, right, I'm actually going to go to 7-Eleven after this and I'm going to buy myself that chocolate bar. Usually, because I've done well today. Okay, right, when they're there, actually I'm going to get this person a chocolate bar as well because I got given this. You give that person a chocolate bar. They were actually having a really, really shit day. They were going to go home and do this. That's made their day. Like, it's just boom, knock-on effect. Like, that's the energy you're putting out.
What do you think of women here in Thailand?
What, Thai women or the women who are here in Thailand?
Both. The women who are here in Thailand first, so the tourist women.
Okay, so I think there's different categories. I'll be honest, like it's not something in terms of like dating wise. Like I've not been looking for. I'm not looking for a partner. I love being around women. I love the energy of women. And I think it's important to feel that every now and then. And whenever I've kind of needed that energy, I think because I'm on a good path, that energy has just sort of come into my life when I've needed it. So I've been very blessed that like I haven't felt sort of without feminine energy. There's some great women here. I've met some really great women who've been like, they're traveling a lot and they're really kind of exploring, interesting things about themselves. And I've met some really great women. I've met some women I think who are very hurt and have sort of come out here to escape, and they're a bit lost and they've been sold that perhaps going away, exploring yourself, read into that whatever you want, might be a good answer, but I think they actually leave feeling quite empty. Again, what do I know? It's all judgments. So I've noticed a bit of that there's like, I think there's a lot of women who've come out here like searching, and they've kind of been here maybe like way too long. I'm talking like 5-10 years. And then they've realised that they've actually missed out on a really important part of their life, and through this kind of self-exploration have actually missed out on perhaps what they really would have wanted, which would have been a partner long term. And now, not that the ship sailed, but definitely their options have dried up slightly. I've met a few women like that who I can feel that they've had all these experiences, and it's a lot about experiences for me, and how do I feel and this. But really, the outcome of that hasn't been something long-term very meaningful. Short-term benefit, long-term detriment. So there's that, which is interesting, but they're very, very interesting to talk to, and they know themselves very well, which is interesting. And it's interesting, all of the women who are older, who I've spent a bit of time with or spoken to, who perhaps I would put in that category, they're all very aware of the male-female dynamic, and they're aware that they need a masculine man. And I think a lot of the girls, but they might have found that out a little bit too, I don't want to say too late, because I think anyone can find love at any time, but obviously girls have a date when they're most sort of desirable in the marketplace, to be very blunt. So it's good to learn that lesson quickly and not question too much about that. So yeah, but they've all kind of come to the conclusion they've really understood their femininity, and then they also really appreciate masculinity. I was actually speaking to someone just the other day, or yesterday actually, who was very, very aware of that, which was interesting. And a lot of the stuff you get in the West with like girls who just buy into the, I don't want to call it feminist nonsense, because like there's some good intention there, but it's mainly just a belief system that kind of allows you to justify behaviours that probably aren't that good for you.
Right.
In a very sort of polite way of saying it.
That's a very polite way of saying it.
Yeah. But it's a very polite way of saying it. But, you know, like it's not my place to judge at all. It's not my place to judge anyone. It's not anyone's place to judge anyone else. But yeah, so I think there's a lot of girls out here like that. I think the Thai women are really lovely. They're like, they're very, very, they respect you just automatically. Like respect you
That's
automatically.
what I found with the Thai women. There's a weird barrier with like Western women when they'll pretend that they're not attracted to you, even though they are. They clearly are. But there's like this weird game that you've got to play, where like you gotta like I can't even describe it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But like Thai women, if they're attracted to you, it's like they're very like forward and honest with it, and it's much less drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. They should be chasing you while you're on your shit.
Yeah.
Like while you're on your shit, that direction, they're like, okay, well, I want to jump on that train, okay, and they should be chasing you. Like that's how it should be, and that's how everyone's happier. You get to focus on their shit, they get a better life because you're focusing on your shit and you're leveling up. So it just works well. I always use this example of to demonstrate exactly what you just said. I was at a bar in the UK maybe like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I don't think I was drinking at the time. I was at the bar and I was waiting for a drink, and there was this girl who's next to me. I'm going to be polite again. This girl is not someone I was attracted to. This girl perhaps enjoyed going to certain fast food restaurants a little bit too often, and I was not someone that I would be interested in kind of pursuing or speaking to, but be polite to. That was it. She was obviously there with her friends, whatever. We sat at the bar, shoulder to shoulder. Something happened, I can't remember what, like something happened with the guy like doing a cocktail. He like tried to do a trick or something, and like something just funny happened. And I just sort of bumped her and was like, we've shared an experience where we've both seen the same thing. Let's acknowledge that we have both seen the same thing, so we can sort of cement the moment and then get on with our lives. You know, like just like, haha, that was funny. Okay, like we both saw that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Literally, I think I went like something like that. And bearing in mind, like I said, this girl ate too much. Like, just looked at me, turned and looked at me, and like this look of like, are you trying to like talk to me like this? And I was just like, how dare you? You would be so lucky that I was going to talk to you. And I remember thinking like the fucking ego on this chick, and maybe the ego of me as well, but like I can't even have a moment like that where we're just enjoying something that has happened as two human beings. I always remember that. I always find that funny. I was furious. I was like, I wanted to shake her, be like, no, you're lucky. Like, how dare you? Like, this is great for you. This is, maybe there's a chance for you. You should be thinking. That's what you should be thinking. Yeah. Not like, ugh, like, but I think, you know, that comes down to maybe she wanted to go to her friends, be like, oh, that guy, like, he was like, touch me with his elbow.
That guy was hitting on me. And,
it's just, guys get so much attention.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. You can still see that it hurts me. Like, I wonder where she is and what she's doing now. Whatever that is, that attitude is prevalent.
And it's like, it's not a game that I'm personally willing to play.
Yeah.
I know a lot of men, they spend an incredible amount of time pursuing women like that. And I think that's why it continues to happen, because it's like so normal now, you know, like, oh, this is how I should behave around men. But to me, if I'm a dude who's genuinely about it, and I'm going to sound egotistical, but like a man of value, you know, I don't have to try and convince you of that with like words or like, you know, going around the issue. And if
Yes.
you expect that of me, then you don't think of me highly enough for me to even want to entertain you anyway.
Yes.
So it's interesting to see the massive dynamic difference in Thai women compared to Western women.
Yeah.
I think Western women generally are just far more entitled,
Yeah.
much like that
Yeah.
lady in the bar. The reason I ask you about women is because I think women are like just one of the biggest traps that men fall into, and they spend such horrendous amounts of time chasing women
Yes.
rather than actually just becoming the man that your future wife needs you to be. And while you're chasing women like that in that bar,
Yes.
not saying that you were, but like people do. While you're doing that, you're not actually becoming the man that that future wife of yours needs you to be.
No.
And she's slipping away from you.
Yeah.
She's slipping away from you fast.
Yes.
And you're chasing, and people do this like every day. They're chasing that.
Yeah.
And I find that to be incredibly jarring and a massive waste of time and potential as well.
Yeah.
Massive trap that men fall into.
I think that's like such good wisdom and kind of the way to think about it. You can tie this to so many things, but also like with sales as well, it can come into, maybe I'll tie it into that as well, of how to actually sell effectively, is you actually have to be really valuable and bring people to you. And I teach this to everyone I work with as well. But the way to kind of think about it, let's say that women are like butterflies. Okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
Women are butterflies.
Women are butterflies.
They're
right.
floating around. They're just
They're
trying to.
pretty.
They're so pretty.
Yeah. They're like delicate, and no, everyone loves a butterfly. How do you get a butterfly? Well, you can go out, you can get your net if you want. Okay, you can get your net, really nice net, state-of-the-art net. You got your whatever, your Gucci whatever on, state-of-the-art net, and you can go out, working your ass off. Hey, maybe you will catch a butterfly and you can bring your butterfly home. But then you got to let it go; it goes away again. But how do you actually have butterflies around you all the time? Right, well, I'm going to make a nice garden. I'm going to plant a tree here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to cultivate this. This will look good. Oh, look, a butterfly's come. Oh, it's gone away again. Never mind. I'm going to water this. Like, you know. And this,
That's such a good way of looking at it.
and then over time, you've got this beautiful garden where it's like, oh, there's a butterfly here, there's a butterfly there.
Yeah,
Ooh, I
there's
like
so
that
many
butterfly.
butterflies
Yeah.
now. There's so many. There's so many, and I didn't have to get my big net out and
Yeah.
chase them, and then while I'm hitting them with the
Yeah.
net, I've actually damaged it, and now it's a worse butterfly.
Yeah,
which I think is a big thing as well. Like these women, like which you're chasing in these bars.
Yeah.
Good women aren't even entertaining dudes who
Yeah.
are spending their time that way.
Yeah.
So like the butterflies that you do catch, they're going to be like damaged as well.
Yes.
And they're not even going to be
Yeah.
like, they're not even going to spiritually fulfill you as a man.
Yeah.
Because I think men and women in union are such a beautiful and powerful thing, and this is what a lot of men don't understand, is that women, like us men, we're powerful in the physical world.
Yeah.
In the physical world, we can get shit done. But
Yeah.
women have this like spiritual power which we just don't possess. They're connected to I can't even describe it, but like that's why we make such a beautiful team, is because we're so powerful in the physical realm. And a good woman connected to spiritually, you know, like that, you create a beautiful union. She brings so much goodness to you from the spiritual realm, and you're getting all these things done in the physical world, which is ultimately elevated by the amount of power that she's able to give you from that. And men don't appreciate that about women enough at all.
No,
they
don't.
just see them as inferior because, you know, they can't do it as many pull-ups as you.
Which is nonsense. And realistically, like, we'll talk and we'll have a conversation, we'll get shit done, we'll lay the roads, we'll do this. Like, yeah. Really.
And men are awesome.
Men are awesome.
Men are fucking awesome, by the way.
Like, we'll do all those things, and it's very, very necessary. But, and this is why art is so important as well. Things have energy attached to them. Music has energy attached to it. It's feminine energy. It's because it's beauty. Art has energy attached to it. It's usually feminine energy because it's beauty. When you watch a sunset and you have a beer, estrogen increases your estrogen. It's feminine. Men crave that, which is why you crave that nurturing and that whatever it is, like you said, that deep spiritual depth that only a woman has. And without that, everything's pointless. Without beauty, without art, without those moments, like, why are we doing this? And I think that is, like, you know, it kind of does come back to that a lot of a drive for man biologically, you know, it is those beautiful divine things that, like, a woman can channel, like, and that's why. But to unlock that from a woman, I'm sure as boys, as guys, we've all experienced this when like a woman is really, really open and suddenly they just turn off and they're cold. Like you lose access to it and you just feel it and you don't know what it is. You're like, oh, hang on, probably because you fucked up. To enable them to exist like that, they have to be in their feminine energy and you have to be in your masculine energy. And yeah, there's times to kind of maybe swing between both slightly, like they have to move into their masculine to get shit done, and sometimes that's just necessary. Sometimes we need to step back into a bit more of a feminine frame to understand things a bit deeper, then go back into it. Like it is, you can sort of move in and out of it, but really long term you want a really, really feminine woman. How do you have access to a really, really feminine woman? You give her the space to be a really feminine woman. What does that mean? It means you have to take again, you have to take a lot of decision away from her. In terms of your relationship, maybe in her job, she goes ahead and makes a load of decision. Great. But in terms of the relationship, you take away, you choose where you're going for dinner. You've booked it. You've sorted this out. So she can be in a feminine. She turns up, she looks pretty, she's feeling feminine. Like, that's it for her. You know, you don't want to have to, it's like that whole example when a guy's like, I don't know, well, what do you want to eat tonight? Like, that's killing her inside. That's killing her inside. And yeah, maybe in her friendship group, she's the masculine one and she more masculine. She's like, right, girls, we're going here. Great. That's not important. But with you, you have to keep that frame. You have to keep that frame. And then you get the nourishment from it. But it's hard work. Like, you can't just, you have to be prepared for it. And this is something I've come to realize that I'm be completely honest, I wasted my fucking 20s. I'm still 28, but like, I thought that having a girlfriend was like the pinnacle. It's like, oh, you get like a really hot girlfriend, there you go, you're done. Is it that what it is? You're done, aren't you, once that happens? And I wasted a lot of my 20s, I wouldn't say chasing it, because I had a good understanding of male-female dynamics. So what would happen was, I went through this cycle for about 6 years. I'd work really fucking hard on myself. Good things would be happening to my life. People are drawn to me. Oh, an attractive woman's drawn to me. And without like sort of trying, I kind of have a girlfriend now. I've taken her out on a couple of dates, done this, all right, I have a girlfriend. And then I kind of get a bit, not bored of them, but I'm like, I don't really want to be in a relationship. I didn't realize it at the time, but I didn't really want to be in a relationship. I just, like, I didn't really know, it's kind of caught this thing and I was like, I don't have to, like, I had my mission that I was focused on with music and kind of setting up sort of education, businesses, things like that. I was like, that's what was really, really igniting me. And then like the relationship would fall apart and they weren't feeling served. I wasn't giving them what they needed. And you know, you can blame them. You're toxic, you're this. Realistically, I wasn't in a strong enough masculine position to enable them to exist in their feminine for the whole time, which is why the arguments happen. The relationship falls apart. Yeah, you can call them, you're a toxic bitch, or this or this. Realistically, that's it. That's if there's a problem, then there's something wrong with the dynamic. That's what needs to be fostered and cared the whole time. And then I was like, okay, well that hurt. Okay, well maybe I need another girlfriend. It was them. Okay, another girlfriend. I'll work on myself for 6 months. Oh, okay, another girl's coming. Oh, okay, great. Same thing happens. And like now I'm in this period where I know that I don't want. I know what I want, and I know that I don't. At this point in life, I don't want that. One, because I'm not able to give. And we're in a relationship with someone because we're there to give. You know, it's not a trophy wife. You're there to serve them spiritually, whatever, in every way. You're literally there to serve each other. And I think, I'm not saying to like guys that you shouldn't be in it because you learn so much from relationships, but I think maybe you have to go through it, I don't know, but I think I've come to realize now that like for the type of relationship that I want, for them to exist fully in their feminine all the time and for me to be able to provide that for them, then there's certain things that I need to do, achieve, and become before I'm going to have that woman. And I think that maybe some people have a better balance, but I know that I just wasted my 20s in like coffee shops and going for a Sunday stroll and this and just bullshit and like feeling it at the time, like, and they're like, where you're not being present with me? It's because I'm thinking like, oh, I want to work on this, and the relationship falls apart. So it's futile anyway. But I think it's something that I don't know how to pass that on. So I think maybe it's something you have to experience, maybe, but sort of beware of that. And even if all your friends have got girlfriends, if you know kind of where you want to get to, do focus on that, because in the long run, things will come back to you, or women will come back to you.
Yeah, and I think if you navigate a relationship correctly as well, this is another thing dudes get wrong about women as well. Like, a good woman should actually fuel your mission and your purpose and your work, and it shouldn't actually serve as a distraction. I don't know about you, but because like we were talking about earlier, relaxing, the idea of relaxing as a man. Like, to me, relaxing is actually conversations like this, highly productive conversations, and also high quality time with women, a woman that I love. That would be a fantastic way for me to relax, rather than sitting at a beach. You know, or like just women can like literally just sit down. Women can sit down for like 6 hours and just do a crossword and feel so content for 6 hours. And that just speaks to the differences in men and women, and specifically how we relax. A good woman, she should fuel your mission, fuel your purpose, and she should serve as a sort of home base for you. You come home from your day of war, you're all wounded, you're blooded up, and she should be there. Hey babe, you okay? Hard day at work? Cup of tea, licks your wounds, spend a bit of quality time together, back at it the next day. That is so ideal. That's the perfect, and so many young dudes, they get into relationships and they get so, like, because the thing is, women, like, they'll tell you, like, yeah, I want to do this, I want to spend 24 hours with you, da-da-da-da, and there's so many young men fall into that trap, but the reality is, you have to still prioritize your purpose and your work, and she should serve as like sort of a home base for you to rendezvous at the end of a hard work day, lick your wounds, quality time, back at it next day. But yeah, that was a really good talk, Tom.
Man.
So
we need a longer cigar next time.
Absolutely.
Keep going. Love you, bro. Yeah, good stuff.
Tom Spark, ladies and gentlemen. You want to give your socials to the boys?
Tom Spark _ on everything.
It'll be in the description of this video, boys.
I'll figure it out.
Thank you, Tom.
Peace. Yeah, appreciate you, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah, good stuff.